everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and welcome to our Denim Think Tank, where we have a deep dive on TENCEL. And today we are live from Austria. My name is Tricia Carey, and I'm Director of Global Business Development for Denim at LENZING, where we transform trees into TENCEL lyocell and modal fibers, which are used by leading mills and brands around the world. To learn more about TENCEL denim, you can visit our Carved in Blue blog, or you can follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter. You can see more amazing denim videos from our mill and brand partners, our series on Headspace, and conversations like these on our YouTube channel called Blue LENZ. During this time, we see the rise of interconnectedness, a sense of shared values, and more digital meetings. Now we're at an intersection of transparency and traceability to reflect our values for the planet and people. Today, we want to take you to a landlocked country in Central Europe with 8.8 million people bordering 8 countries. We're taking you to Austria. In America, we most often associate show tunes like The Hills Are Alive from The Sound of Music, but this country is known for much more. The Austrian National Library in Vienna has more than 2 million books and is one of the world's major libraries. The globally famous energy drink Red Bull originates from Austria, and several classical musical composers such as Mozart, Schubert, Strauss, and Bruckner are also from this country. And it is also the headquarters for the LENZING Group, which is located outside of Salzburg. We actually planned several open houses in LENZING for 2020, which had to be postponed. And we did not want to delay any further, showing you how we make TENCEL fibers. So we're switching to this virtual tour today. A typical tour, walking around the headquarters of LENZING, is about 4 to 5 hours to see the entire facility. So today we'll give you an abbreviated look at how we go through our manufacturing process, as well as an overview of our LENZING headquarters, where we transform trees into TENCEL lyocell and modal fibers. How do we make TENCEL lyocell? Where is it made? Where does it all start? Where do the trees come from? Joining us today to answer these questions and many more, we have live Andreas Dorner. And Andreas, I've had the pleasure of working with you for many years. You are an amazing storyteller. Actually, I would say you're one of the best, and you will take us today on our journeys from forest to pulp to fiber, and how we make a strong, soft, and sustainable fiber that is perfect for modern denim. I would like to invite everyone to write into the chat where you're dialing in from, and please ask questions. You can also put them in the Q&A. We would love to have interaction during this discussion and make sure that we answer your questions, and Andreas can provide you with more details. So with that, I will pass it over to you, Andreas, to take us through this discussion and tell us more about TENCEL fibers.
Yeah, hello. Thank you, Tricia, for the introduction. Thank you very much, all of you, for your time and everything. Well, we are here in the headquarters of LENZING. Unfortunately, we have the time shift already. Looking out, the last few minutes, half an hour, it became more dark. I'm very sorry. And also weather-wise, it's today a little bit foggy, but I'll show you then outside. We thought we do it in 2 ways. I share now my screen. It's coming.
Wonderful. There's the mountains from The Sound of Music.
Well, yeah. Exactly. This is the mountains, and this is where we come from. And this Sound of Music is a very good picture, Tricia. Thank you very much for that. Because here in the hills, where we have hills, we have wonderful lakes, and in this area we are. And you can imagine, if you grew up in this area, sustainability and environmental friendliness is kind of a DNA of every person here. And we also look very sensitive and very careful about the environment. And it's a kind of a contradiction to have a huge chemical company here. But due to a lot of efforts the company did the last 40 years, we could convert a kind of a chemical polluting industry in one of the most environmentally friendly and sustainable factories in the world. And here we have also the magic of lyocell, the magic of a huge innovation in environmental friendliness, TENCEL, Refibra. We do here the EcoVero. All these new fiber types are created here, developed here with a team of wonderful R&D people, a great team of distribution. So I start the video, and I hope you can hear it. This is Austria. So here we are. This is during the day. This is the huge lyocell plant. And you know the generic name of lyocell is common. And we have here two names, TENCEL and ViOcell. You see later on the factory on it too. TENCEL is mainly for the textile area. We focus this only on the textile, while ViOcell, it's a new brand we created for the nonwovens area. You can imagine that one brand like in textile has a certain kind of extension, and you have a wonderful garment, you have a wonderful dress, great jeans, you know, fits perfect, wonderful touch. And then you go to buy some cleaning wipes, and if it would have been the same name as it was in the past, TENCEL, it's a kind of irritation of the consumer. So therefore we decided to have these two names on it. And this is the big lyocell plant in the same area. Today, LENZING stands for ecological. And this was the tree. As you know, the source of here, these are beech trees where we produce Ecovero, viscose, and modal. This is, we have an annual consumption of 2 million tons of trees every year. 40% is fiber, 40% are other products. After we get the trees, we debark them, and then we produce them into chips. These are the wood chips. They go now to the pulper. And here you see already the raw pulp, which is going out. And after, when we go to the fiber, we make a magic thing. So we dilute the wood with a solvent. This takes, in viscose, like 9 to 12 hours. In lyocell, it's of course another process. And then we spin it to very tiny spinnerets. And out is then this monofilament. And it looks like here, like silk. And we push it through the spinnerets. And afterward, we cut it to make the wonderful fiber. That's another way of doing pulp. We mainly use it in lyocell, in US, in Grimsby. These are already pulp plates, which are more easy to do. And in the lyocell process, we need a very high quality pulp. And therefore, we have also suppliers who can supply this to us. LENZING fibers are used in a variety. This, I think, you know, these are the applications. And this is just as I said, you know, hygiene is also lyocell, and here we call it ViOcell. That's a new part where we decided in LENZING to do new applications. You know, in agriculture, in the past, always polyester filaments or polyester yarn was used. And of course, if you cut it down, you have a lot of polyester in the soil. So we made now a biodegradable solution for agricultural areas. This means agricultural, you know, planting, but also packaging that is a more environmentally friendly and also biodegradable solution. The way from the forest to fiber involves several production steps. At LENZING, each fiber is made of cellulose, the core component of all plants on Earth. Our source material wood is perfectly renewable. The source of our wood here in LENZING, where we produce modal lyocell, is not more far away than 350 kilometers. So in this, we have our source of wood, and it's very important, 100% of the wood we're sourcing is certified, either FSC or PFC. There is not one tree which is not certified. That's one of our core values and core stone of our sustainability, going backward in this integrated form that all our suppliers need to show the certificates. Trees regrow, feeding on sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide from our atmosphere, all important factors in creating cellulose. LENZING procures wood only from certified sustainable forestry and plantations because we know about the significance of healthy forests as the most important CO2 storage for our climate. So, and this is now the opposite side. You see in front the huge amount of trees. 75% of these trees are coming by railway, and the rest is coming by truck. Also here we look going for a more environmentally friendly way. So these are all beech trees from the area, as I said, 350 kilometers surround. So this is our biggest supplier is the Austrian Wood Association, the German, Czechoslovakia, a little bit of Hungary. These are the main suppliers. And as I said, all of them need to be certified. We have also third-party auditing companies who always help us to be really, really clean in that. And here you could see already, this is the tree structure coming in. They work from day and night. They need to stop at 8 o'clock in the evening because it's very loud here. So we need to close. Here in the back, you see the two very important pulpers where we put the wood chips in and put some chemicals there. Here on the right side, here is the debarking station where we cut the trees in very small chips, what we call wood chips, and put them on further on. We have here always a kind of a stock over 3 months. Why? We need to be prepared for all eventual things. You know, if there's a strike in the railway association, if there's a border problem, or, you know, there's a flood or something like this, we always keep really 3 months wood in advance to keep really on the safe side. The same we do with chemicals, the same we do with all materials that we can run. Lenzing is working 24/7, 365 days. So day and night, we always produce. And you can imagine today with COVID, we had very, very important and strict safety and protection units to really keep our production safe, secured, and protected, because it's the core and the heart of our whole activity.
Entire logs are first debarked and hacked into wood chips.
You see here, this is already, they were debarked, and here are these 24 knives where they produce, you know, it's an ongoing stream where you make out of a tree millions of wood chips.
Size of postage stamps.
So this is afterwards. The wood chips are there, and the good thing is, as this is kind of a biorefinery way, you don't need to dry, you don't need to stop. You get this very, very, you know, wood chips, they get into liquid. The liquid pulp is going into fiber. No energy is consumed by drying. No energy is consumed to reheat. And therefore, we are here in a CO2 neutral factory. Even producing 327,000 tons of fiber, we could claim CO2 neutral. The only, or let's say, gasoline we take is for the buggers, for the caterpillars to do a little bit kind of work. The rest, we take everything here out of the tree. The bark we take for energy, so that heats the machinery. The side products out of one tree, as I said, 40% is fiber, 40% is salt. So in all the dishwasher, we are the main supplier for the dishwasher industry for the salt. Another part is xylose. This is the sweetener, natural sweetener. So Orbit sugar-free chewing gum. This is our sugar from the tree. And then we have a kind of a vinegar there. And this, we are the main supplier for the fish industry in Scandinavia, where we supply all of that. So 100% of the whole tree is used. And I think that's really outstanding.
The cellulosic component, which represents roughly 40%, is separated and processed.
Here you see already the pulp going in this direction.
Into fibers. All other components of the valuable source material are used to produce bio-based products.
Here we have this bio-based product. This is the vinegar. In this form, it's mixed pickled because, you know, we couldn't find the fish to do it. So this is mainly Central Europe.
Or pharmaceutical industries.
And here also there are some components used for as pharmaceutical.
And bioenergy for the supply of our plants. Lenzing is the only company in the world which is able to produce significant volumes of all three cellulosic fiber generations.
And this is a very interesting fiber. You know, by majority of our clothes, of course, it's mainly white, but everything is colored. So we offer now a wide range of viscose colors, Ecovero colors, that's very new, that we also have colors in Ecovero, and of course in modal. And the modal color is very much used now in the packaging industry. And we made some analytics that the colored modal saves so much more water, chemicals, and dye stuff compared to a normal white fiber spun into a fabric and then colored into dark. So between a dope dyed fiber, black fabric, and normal fabric, then colored black, there's a significant difference. And in denim, we had already, you know, the black collection, also in underwear. And I think we need to be really consider these things as really game-changing industrial moves, using already that color. Of course, we cannot do all colors, it's clear. But in some major color areas, it's funny. And we know some spinners, they do out of 12 dope dyed colors, they produce 40,000 different color shades. And of course, with this, tremendously reducing their environmental impact.
Viscose, modal, and lyocell fibers. The lyocell production technology is the most modern process. The underlying idea is to dissolve and process the pulp in a closed loop without any chemical derivatization. The honey-like solution.
So here we are in this magic. This is the dope, what we say, honey-like. Here we have the tree already with a solvent. So we have the cellulosic solvent. It looks like, you know, the color is honey, it's a yellow side. And in this kind of honey, we press later on through a spinneret. The spinnerets are micromillimeter thick things. So you have millions of very thin holes. We press it through, and there it happens, this magic of fiber production. They go into a liquid, and suddenly this honey becomes stiff and becomes a fiber. And this is the magic of fiber spinning in the man-made cellulosic. So this purity of this dope needs to be very, very, very strong. And so that means we need to have a very, very, very good dope quality. This requires a very good pulp quality. And in the purity, we need to be with a lot of filtrations, very fine, because in the end, also the lyocell process, it's not an easy process. And you know, all companies who start with that face in the beginning huge challenges with explosion and other irritations. So LENZING also made a long journey of more than 27 years, learning, trial and error. And of course, we had also some extermination, which we said this was not so easy, but due to our safety regulations, we could always really work good through. There was no big accident. Of course, this is something that happened. Now we go to the magic. Here you see, here is the honey, and don't be irritated. These are too thick. Just to make, we made a graph to make it more easy for you to understand. You know, from this honey, you see it's slightly step by step. Now we have the spinneret and we spin it through. These things are all patented. So we have around 350 patents on all these spinnerets, design, and blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of, so we cannot share this, unfortunately. We wish to do, but it's not possible. But this is the magic of spinning.
The pulp is pumped through spinnerets with microfine nozzles.
And afterwards, you see, we have this now, of course, graphic too thick. We have now this monofilaments, and here we stretch them. So we put a lot of liquid, we wash them, we stretch them, and to a certain kind of strength and water and vaporization and time, they get stronger and stronger and stronger. And afterwards, we cut them into small fibers.
Fibers are spun into continuous strands.
You could see now we are in the machine. Also here, the monofilament. This is reality. This is really a movie out of the factory. You see that we wash it out, we strengthen them, and the tenacity, the strength of the fiber comes immediately after the conversion and then after the strengthening process. And this needs also a certain time to really make it through.
These pass to a finishing area.
This is again also the monofilament. Looks like a fabric, but there are millions of monofilament. We wash them, that they're really now really, you have to wash them very often. Of course, we have one of the biggest wastewater treatments, so water is not the issue. We reuse it, but in the end, it needs also to have this transportation. And here, after then the cutting and a certain kind of drying process, this is now the end product of the fiber, which we know. Perhaps some of you don't know a fiber. It looks like, you know, yeah, it's like watte, you know, it's a small area, it's white, it's very soft. And we cut them into 38 millimeters. Why 38 millimeters? 38 millimeters is a kind of standard average where the cotton spinning industry is dedicated to. You know, a cotton fiber is always different. Sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. There's a lot of, let's say, irregularity. Of course, it's a natural fiber. And we can do with our, let's say, man-made cellulosic, we keep a certain kind of process and consistency. And this helps in spinning, that the spinning process with man-made cellulosic fibers, viscose, ecovero, modal, and lyocell, gets much faster, much more speed, because, you know, the machines like to have this consistency. And here we are in the bales. We press them into bales, around 320, 340 kilograms. Every bale has a number. We can go back to when we produced it by day, which, you know, which period was it, which machine, which time, which pulp. We have an online quality system, so we do online adjustments. We see now the wood, the trees from summer to winter, they change. We can adopt the whole chemical process. We adopt also in spinning already some adjustments. That means our online quality system is helping us. Beside of that, we do every hour, we take a sample and make a testing. Not testing fiber. We test spinning. We do later on a fabric making. And the key quality of a fiber is not spinning and not knitting or weaving. It comes when it goes to dye and finishing. Because if you have a consistent quality in the dye and finishing, the fabric is completely even, you know, clean, one color. If the quality is not consistent, in this area suddenly you have change of colors, a kind of naps, you have, you know, irritation of colors. And here, I think to avoid all of that, LENZING always dedicates his main area, beside of innovation, on really consistent quality. As we do also a lot in the area of non-wovens, we need to be, of course, a high quality level, because in non-wovens, we are in a hygienic area, you know, cleaning the body. We are in the feminine hygiene area. So here we need to be in a medical area. Therefore, quality and consistency is very important.
Staple fibers baled for shipping to fabric mills. In addition to wood, LENZING is able
and
to
now we go to the refibra. It's just the way, you know, we
an estimated 50 million tons.
This is anyway good, because Tricia and I, we were together in 2013 in San Francisco to have some meetings. And during this tour, we realized in very deep conversation that there is a lot of fabric waste, of garment waste. And we started the process, the thought process of using this old garment material. And that's in that area, I think we didn't realize what means circular economy or upcycling, but we had a very good impression that let's do it, go for that. Don't cut always trees, let's use this waste, convert it into fiber. And it took us, we wanted to have it quicker, but it took us quite a long time, 5 or 6 years. We had to do some PhD studies, we had to do some patents, we had to develop technology, chemicals, and LENZING company really then picked up this idea. And now we created this refibra fiber, where we take fabric waste, end of garment waste, end of use garments, post-consumer waste, and convert this partially into a new fiber. So we take existing wood pulp, we add the pulp out of the, you know, of the fabric waste and the garment waste, and then we make a new fiber. And this is the solution for circular economy. And until today, the only scalable solution for circular economy in the fiber area.
Clothing is disposed every year with an upward trend. With the refibra technology, LENZING supports new solutions to advance circularity in the fashion industry. At the end of their life cycle, LENZING fibers re-enter the ecosystem, preparing the ground on which new plants grow, characteristic of cellulose, which helps.
And you see, this is the disaster we see in the ocean with plastic. And I think we all agree that's not a world we want to live in. So I think this is more fun to have a biodegradable product, which you can always bring back to Earth. And you know, the biggest polymer, one of the biggest polymer on the Earth is cellulose. So all trees, all, you know, leaves, what you're there, this is all cellulose. And we think very much we need to make our contribution against the microplastics in the ocean. And therefore we really like to develop even further new innovations there.
LENZING's business model goes far beyond that of a pure raw material producer. At LENZING, we look beyond fiber to the needs of our partners, the needs of consumers, and not least, the needs of our community. This is the only way we can continue to improve products, develop new applications, and at the same time, take responsibility towards future generations.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Andreas. Thank you for taking us through that tour. Yes. Yeah.
So questions?
Yeah, I don't see any questions that have come in yet, but I think it would be great to highlight exactly how many plants we have. Give us that global perspective of how big LENZING is.
So you see, I'm already with my mask. Austria is more caught by COVID as ever. So we have the different plants, as I said before. We have the big plant and the headquarters in Austria. I go now to, you know, this is now my area of walk. We have the plant in China, the plant in Indonesia. I turn my, I want to show you something. Again here, LENZING, to remind everybody, from the tree to the wood, to the fabric, to the fiber, and to the fabric. And so this is very, very, very important that we have our global.
Oh, this is the wonderful things of being live. Sometimes we cut out, but I'll fill in while we're waiting for Andreas's connection to come back. So LENZING is, oh, there we go. Now we got you back, Andreas. Okay.
So, and here, sorry, it's already dark. This is the big chimney. I think here you can see in the back, this is LENZING. And this is now the evening side. For you, difficult to understand in US, Tricia, I know. You have a wonderful New York City area. But we had the time change. So this is all the plan you see around here. And today it was too foggy, Tricia. It was really foggy. And here we are now with a night view on the lyocell plant. You see the LENZING. On the right side, you hopefully can see TENCEL and the VioCell area. Here we are at the vaporization area. That means here, this is just water, you know, in the closed loop. You have to imagine we produce lyocell. You put sugar into a tea. You turn around and you have your tea with sugar, and afterwards you vaporize, you heat again this water, and the outcome is clearly then in our area, the fiber stays there. So we have to bring the water back, and this is our vaporization. You see already here, not many people are working. Already the evening shift has started. And I walk you around here, you can see everything there. The wonderful part is I want to show you also some areas here. This is one of the biggest wastewater treatment in Europe. Also here we work day and night, as you could see. Said before, 24/7. Everybody is working tremendously. Safety is now in the moment very keen. Therefore, you don't see a lot of cars. And here, funny enough, I show you something. You see the sign DuPont. So it's not that DuPont has bought LENZING or LENZING has bought DuPont, but DuPont has bought the sugar company, the Xylose. This was before a Danish company. And DuPont is now investing in that. And therefore, we have DuPont here. In the past, DuPont and LENZING were big competitors. But now they are neighbors. we work together. So they convert the whole natural sugar from the trees into the Wrigley's or Orbit sugar-free chewing gum. Here I show you also something which is of course confidential. This is our R&D where we produce the filament, where we produce a lot of things. This is the whole R&D complex. And here again, I went to around, we are here again in LENZING. At the
Wonderful.
main tower.
Yeah.
Beautiful, huh? You see,
I mean,
everybody's working. It's very cold. I cannot see the moon. Sorry, I wanted to show you the moon too. But we have now a lot of clouds in front of the sun. Therefore, it's getting darker as was before. So, any special things, questions?
Excellent, Andreas. I think some of the questions that I always get asked by people is, again, what kind of trees, how much do we use of the tree? I always think that that's something that people like to know about. Yeah. So can you recap again the species of trees we use?
Yes, so the species of trees, we take beechwood to make viscose and to make equivero, and that we produce modal. This is beech. We take spruce, we take this kind of, in the area of Czechoslovakia pulp mill, we take spruce and we combine that, and then we have eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is used in China mainly for the production of viscose, and the production in Indonesia also viscose. As I'm now alone in the building, I think I can put off my face mask.
Oh, wonderful! Great.
And what kind of wood we also take? We use to make fiber only 40%, as I said before. We take 40% of the tree to make fibers. We do some experiments always with trees we can get, because if you blend certain trees, you can also have the quality. And there is more development that we also use now, some R&D efforts that we work on. Even, you know, we want to use even food waste, you know, not only trees. We are now developing alternatives for the trees, because I think long term, as we know, CO2 is the main topic, and trees are really the key plant to convert CO2 in air, in oxygen. We need to develop even further and more opportunities. And I would say we did already investigate with the majority of all available tree sorts, types, to convert them, even grass, natural grass, hemp, and all of these things.
Yes, anything from cellulose. So we have a couple more questions coming in here, Andreas. How many
Yes.
people work in the company, and how many are at our headquarters in Austria?
Well, how many people are working in LENZING? All in all, 7,600 people are working in LENZING. In the headquarters, 2,500 people. But as you could see before, we have also other companies in our area. So this company grew now to kind of a business park on this area, including all sub-company and paper mills and everything. We have around 5,200 people, but employees of LENZING are 2,500.
Great. And how long has the production facility in Austria been there?
The Austrian plant was founded, I mean, there was in 1878, there was a tree company where they cut wood, but then the big investment was done. LENZING was founded in the year 1938. Of course, the history is not very, I would say, nobody's proud of. It's more the opposite. It was created by the Nazis because they created in Linz the steel mill and in LENZING the cellulosic. Why? They wanted to become independent from cotton. And after the war, it was a privately company, first a state-owned company, then a privately owned company. So we always say that the year where LENZING was founded is the year 1938. We had a consortium of historic persons who are very good in that. They wrote a book about the history of lenzing. You know, we also have to reflect our history. We have to be aware what was here. And we, of course, nobody from us or nobody of the families who are working here were part of that, but we need to be responsible also to that. And I think it was very important to have also this historical view on lenzing.
Yeah, no, exactly. Okay, we have quite a few questions coming in. This is great. Can we talk a little bit more about Refibra and the post-consumer waste that's being used? Tell us more about the waste specifications then, Andreas. Existing
Yes.
garments, are they dyed? Are they printed? Is there certain colors?
Yes, I mean, the Refibra technology started with white cotton. We had white cotton, only white, 100% cotton in white. Then everybody has to imagine, you know, it's not, you don't have this solution, you don't find it in any supermarket or in any cookbook. We had to develop the technology by ourselves. We had to develop the chemicals by ourselves. So we started with a very common area, 100% cotton, no elastane. This was no optical whitener, it's another problem. So, and then we had only 5% of this waste into the fiber. Then we developed 10%, 15, 20, 30. We want to go further, 50 and above. And including now with the post-consumer, we think it's more important to include post-consumer. Also here we started very low level and we will go up and up and up. In the moment, we do partnerships with our retail partner, with our brand partner, with very loyal sources where we know they only use certified cotton. They need, you know, they go back to the source of the original. And this is the partnerships we have in the moment. The journey of Refibra will continue for sure. The journey of Refibra, I would say, our aim would be in the end to use 100% post-consumer waste, convert 100% post-consumer waste into a new fiber, and this is the aim. But it will still take years. It is not a question of months, years to develop this thing. And in the moment, state of the art is we have post-consumer already in. We have a higher percentage. And the next level will be how to get rid of something. The biggest concern we have is always elastane. Elastane, you have to imagine, it's like chewing gum. It's on every fiber. And if you have this, you cannot spin. You could see before in the video, in the spinnerates are very thin. So if you put chewing gum in, it's blocked. So the fiber cannot go. So you need to clean it. And we are talking to the majority of elastane producers, but they have no clue and idea how to do it. Therefore, we work with ex-partners, external partners, institutes, universities, to help us all to separate all these fibers.
Right. Yeah. No, we're just at the beginning, I think, of Refibra, and overall the entire industry is only now starting to make commitments around circularity, and this is what we need. But as you mentioned before, we offer a scalable solution for textile chemical recycling. We have a couple more questions here. Actually, quite a few are coming in now. Talk to us, Andreas, about carbon-free TENCEL, true carbon zero.
Carbon zero.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's better Tricia explains it in her words. My Austrian would be too complicated for everybody.
Yeah, well, true carbon zero, as Andreas showed you, it's wonderful that you can see a little bit of the plant. I know it was dark tonight, but because we have such a high amount of renewable energy at our production facility, that we use every part of the tree, and we're even burning about 50% of the tree for energy for our production facility in Austria. So right from the very start in making the pulp, we have a low footprint from an energy standpoint. So it's all about reduction, reduction, reduction. Then we look at ways that we can engage with the industry in order to reduce other raw material inputs that we need. And the third area of our true carbon zero is around any offsets that are required. Andreas mentioned we do use a lot of rail for transportation, but there still are transportation aspects that we need to consider. So that's a little bit about True Carbon Zero. We have some other questions here on the difference between lyocell, modal, and viscose. Are they all traceable? Is our TENCEL, lyocell, and EcoVero traceable? Can you comment on that, Andreas?
Yes, very good question. Very, very good question. We believe that the textile industry has today and in the future 4 very important things: sustainability, traceability, transparency, and I would say, as an Austrian, I would say trust, because that's something, you know, there's a lot of things. Oh, we do this and this, and then you find out it doesn't work. The traceability is something which is very, as I said, a very high priority for LENZING. So we started with a full traceability with EcoVero. So the environmental friendly viscose with the name of EcoVero has a kind of full traceability, 100%. And this engaged us more. We started with Refibra, and we thought this was a very good start. Now we scaled it up to EcoVero. And in our roadmap of fibers, we go even beyond these 2 fiber types. As I said before, traceability is so important. So we need to make even more easy to check and understand these fibers in. I'd give you an example from the reality. We get some garments where they say it's all EcoVero, and we check it in our lab and said, well, that's very strange. There is EcoVero or not. And due to our traceability technology, which we developed with a partner, we could see that the sleeves, the 2 sleeves of the t-shirts, had EcoVero, but not the body. So that means that somebody really very creative of using EcoVero, but then saving money with Chinese viscose. And I think hundreds of examples like that brought us more to the point, let's further drive traceability and transparency, because until the end consumer, an end consumer wants to look with an iPhone or with a very simple tool what is in. And due to the very much of greenwashing, an industry partner like LENZING from the beginning of the value chain need to be the first point to make traceability happen. So I cannot say yes and I cannot say no. Therefore, my answer is, you're right, traceability is important. We have already something, and we see much more fiber types in the future with a higher level of traceable potential.
Great, yes. And we have another question from one of our longtime friends, Andreas, from Fritz, who wanted us to highlight, thank you, Fritz, for joining. He wanted us to highlight about the biodegradability and what biodegradability and compostability do we have for all of our LENZING fibers. I think this is becoming more of an important topic.
I think you can answer this very good, Tricia.
Okay, yes. So our biodegradability and compostability, because we come from nature, we come from trees, we can go back into nature. And this is actually something, we had our certification for biodegradability and compostability long before it was becoming an issue in the apparel industry because of our non-wovens business. So we look at packaging. We are a great alternative for that because of our biodegradability and compostability across all of our fibers. So thank you, Fritz, for reminding us to call that out. Very important.
Fritz, thank you very much.
Yes. And we do have some more questions about the byproducts here, and could they even be used in biocompostable plastics?
Yes.
I think the byproducts is something that everyone's always interested to learn more about, and you touched on that.
Well, the byproducts, I think it's something we don't expect if you talk about fiber, but I think a very good point, it's used in the automotive industry. The automotive industry is now forced to also use more renewable products. So they're using our lyocell, we call it TENCEL shortcut, to make plastics. And we have found alternative products, even flock, you know, to make some nice flock on underwear, to do in packaging, to put it in films, to use it there. So I think the byproduct area is something, and therefore also it's good that Fritz is here, because he was one of our main thought lead in that these byproducts are, I think, a key to make it really 100%. And it gives a platform for new innovation. For example, we have now artificial leather out of lyocell. We have plastic components out of lyocell. We have modal with that. So there is a lot of new things. And I think if the space is like this size, we only have this smaller part in the moment. We develop more and more applications to get the side product range wider. And in Europe especially, the industry landscape is very happy to have new alternatives, sustainable alternatives to other materials.
Great,
okay.
Thank you, Andreas. And a couple more here. About the facility where you're at in LENZING.
Yeah.
Tell us more, 24-hour production every day of the year.
Yes.
When are we closing, and what other facilities are on site?
Yes. So I can also show you, we do another. You don't need to look always on me. This is the facility for my office out. So you see everything every day, 24 hours. Sorry, it was not so good. I should go up in the. We work 24 hours, let's say 7 days per week, 24 hours, and we have no holiday. Of course, we have holidays, but our shift workers work 24 hours, 365 days. A viscose production, the modal production, you should never, ever stop. If you have stopped, the process cools down. This is a disaster. Therefore, we keep our plants busy, run. Even, economy is not so good. We keep them running. And we have here an own firefighting group. We have an own medical group. We have a canteen, which is 24 hours open for all shift workers. We have a medical car. We have medical devices. So we have safety. So if there's a small accident, a person, the most safe area in Austria, I would say, is LENZING, because within a few minutes, you're in every hospital. We have here, we need to run this machine here. I live in a small city called Salzburg. It's not a big city, but it's third biggest in Austria. But to compare the railway structure we have at the railway station, the main station in Salzburg, compared to LENZING, LENZING has a longer railway and more railway opportunities than Salzburg. So you need to say it's a small city. In a small city, you need the whole infrastructure. And as I said before, the most important is run every day, day and night, do everything that the shift workers have come in, are safe, let them out safely, and that our machines are running. This comes back to the wood. Therefore, we have so much wood in stock, so much chemicals in stock. We should never, ever stop the lines.
Right. No, exactly. And one other area I wanted you to talk about is actually the stream, the river that runs through the production facility.
Yes.
And what we've done to have the, make it as sustainable as possible.
Yes. I think the river is a good example. In the late 80s, the river was, it's a small river. You cannot compare it with the Hudson River. It's a very, very, very small river. And in the late 80s, it was dark, gray, very stinky, unbelievable. It was really polluted. And in that time, it was not really fun to live nearby or down the river somewhere, because every night there was a lot of foam coming down. It was very polluting. And due to the wastewater treatment we implemented, and of course this was very expensive, as I said before, 2 annual revenues, they had to invest over 10 years to do this. We are now cleaning the water in a perfect way. That means, compared to have a figure, in the 80s, LENZING had a water pollution like a city of 1.8 million people, so really polluting. Today we have a wastewater like a village of 12 persons. So this is still the water we get there. Even we have the best wastewater cleaning, the best infrastructure, there's still something left. But I want to give you a comparison. In summer, when the river is very warm, we cool down the water in our wastewater. That means we create kind of an air condition for fish in this small river, that they feel always comfortable. And this has a funny effect. In Austria, you need a permission to go fishing. And the normal card for fishing costs 250 euro per year. But after LENZING, we realized that the card costs 380 euro. We asked why. They said because the quality of the fish after LENZING is so much better, such a wide variety. And another side effect is, I know there are a lot of vegetarians, but sorry to say, we do there is now there's the vote, the election now in US, and we do a kind of election too. Every year once, we count all members, not votes. We count all fish, what families, what types. There's a special team coming in. And then they say, your population in this specific area grew up or went down. And then we have to re-implement fishes from this and this there. So we really take care also about that. And I think this shows how we are together with this nature.
Yes.
A short story on the side, sorry.
Yes, the Ministry of Fish. It's always wonderful, all of that. So I think we'll close now. Thank you everyone for joining. Okay. It's been great. Andreas, I miss seeing you. I miss the wonderful Austrian desserts too. That's always a highlight. So we'll get together soon. I want to say some thanks to Mohsen and Sadia, who handle our production and graphics.
Yes.
Andreas, for your time today, for our business development teams who are supporting us. And also I want to acknowledge, I'm wearing today this pink jacket, which was given to me. It's a TENCEL denim jacket from Artistic Garment, and they wanted to highlight, October was Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we do also, want to call out our health is so important during this time. And we thank Artistic Garment Mills for their concern around that.
Thank you very much.
Everyone, this is being recorded. We will send you a recording by the end of today. It will also be on Blue Lens, and stay posted on Carved in Blue for our next Denim Think Tank discussions. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Big ideas can start in small places. In Austria, more than 80 years ago, LENZING began their journey of innovation. Today, LENZING stands for an ecologically responsible production of specialty fibers made for the growing need of sustainable solutions in the world. LENZING fibers are used in a variety of textile applications and are also perfectly suitable for hygiene products, cosmetics, and agricultural applications. The way from the forest to the fiber involves several production steps. At LENZING, each fiber is made of cellulose, the core component of all plants on Earth. Our source material wood is perfectly renewable. Trees regrow, feeding on sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide from our atmosphere, all important factors in creating cellulose. LENZING procures wood only from certified sustainable forestry and plantations because we know about the significance of healthy forests as the most important CO2 storage for our climate. In our biorefineries, entire logs are first debarked and hacked into wood chips about the size of postage stamps. The cellulosic component, which represents roughly 40%, is separated and processed into flake or sheet pulp, which is later churned into fibers. All other components of the valuable source material are used to produce bio-based products for the food or pharmaceutical industries and bioenergy for the supply of our plants. LENZING is the only company in the world which is able to produce significant volumes of all three cellulosic fiber generations: viscose, modal, and lyocell fibers. The lyocell production technology is the most modern process. The underlying idea is to dissolve and process the pulp in a closed loop without any chemical derivatization. The honey-like solution resulting from dissolving the pulp is pumped through spinnerets with microfine nozzles. The fibers are spun into continuous strands of filaments. These pass to a finishing area and are treated further depending on future use until they are finally cut into staple fibers and baled for shipping to fabric mills. In addition to wood, LENZING is able to use recycled materials in order to produce lyocell fibers. An estimated 50 million tons of used clothing is disposed every year, with an upward trend. With their Refibra technology, LENZING supports new solutions to advance circularity in the fashion industry. At the end of their life cycle, LENZING fibers re-enter the ecosystem, preparing the ground on which new plants grow, a characteristic of cellulose which helps to eliminate plastic waste. LENZING's business model goes far beyond that of a pure raw material producer. At LENZING, we look beyond fiber to the needs of our partners, the needs of consumers, and not least, the needs of our planet. This is the only way we can continue to improve the quality of our products, develop new applications, and at the same time, take responsibility towards future generations.